My friends, today we are going to be talking about how to get your Canon M50 ready to be a cinematic super beast. Coming right up. Alright, so we got the camera hooked up here and it is looking killer. Oh yeah, killer. So let's go over this stuff in no particular order. It's the order that I'm going to show you in the order that I kind of built it in. Number one, for cinematic wise, you should actually look at getting one of the adapters that allows you to plug EF lenses into your M50 or other mirrorless cameras. So, example, I have a photodiox as well as a Commlite, and both of those allow me to put EF/EFS lenses on my Canon M50. Now, why is this important? Well, there is a ton of EF lenses out there, and some of the best lenses out there are EF lenses. So because of that, they've been around forever, and sometimes you can really find some nice hidden gems for decent prices, especially if you're looking for used. Other bonus of this is that if you invest in EF lenses like this, then when you or if you decide to move to a different Canon camera, you don't have to throw the lens out and start over again. You just kind of bring it with you. Either buy a new adapter or see if it just fits, which is always good. Who wants to throw your money away? Next thing that I think is pretty important, and it's actually something that I just recently bought, and it was in a video just previous, I'll put a link up here if you guys would like to go see it, was this cage. And you can get different cages, but for me I wanted just a good inexpensive cage that did everything that I needed it to do. And because of that, I ended up going on Amazon and buying this one from Neewer. If any of you guys know how to pronounce that properly, please let me know, because I'm pretty sure I don't. Bonus of this, of course, is two things. Is that it comes with kind of like a handle setup, which is great for just helping you hold your camera, and it's got a top handle and all this kind of stuff. It comes with literally, I don't know, 20 or 30 like tripod mount screw-ins, like 1/4 inch mount, which is nuts. It comes with 2 cold shoes, which is great. It comes with a set of rails. It's just loaded, and it comes in at around $50. That's a smoking deal if you're looking for a cage. Now the bonus of a cage, of course, is the fact that you can have your camera set up like this. We don't have to just be limited to 1 or 2 shoes and we're done. Nope. I've got literally 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 things hooked into my camera, and I could have way more. Cage is really a good place to kind of start if you want to start adding stuff to your camera. And be aware, you don't necessarily need one that is designed for your camera. Just make sure the cage that you get is for a camera that is bigger than the one you have. Because if I bought one for, let's say, an M100, my M50 is bigger, so it just won't fit. So be aware of that. Once you got your cage, or maybe you don't, next thing of course you're going to want to get is a microphone. So for me, I have attached to this, I have a Comica microphone. But really, there's tons of microphones out there, really depending on your budget. Comica for me, a little less pricey. Sound for me was good. And it doesn't take batteries, which I really like. And this is the sound you're hearing right now coming from it. Of course, there's Rode out there, and I do have a Rode mic as well. But because it takes batteries right now, I don't have any. Which is why I like the Comica. Because I'm never in a scenario where I'm like, crap, my battery's dead. Now what? I also have this other little microphone up top. You guys can see it. And I think it's by a company, Ceremonic, I believe it's called. I'm not 100% sure. I'll take a look for you. It's cheap. It's like $25. No power. It just plugs in. Off you go. But it's great. It's super portable. Now, you'll notice I have 2 microphones. This brings me to the next item. And this is again by the company Comica. And this is the CVM AX1, I believe. And it is basically an audio Swiss Army knife, because it gives you a whole bunch of stuff, especially for those of us that have a camera like the M50 that is lacking a few audio components. For one, we have 1 mic input jack, which is fine for most of the time. Now when I add this, I have 2. Even better. Number 2, I have no ability to do volume control. So if one mic is louder or quieter than the other, I have to record it that way. Not so with this. I actually have volume dials to be able to adjust volume. But you may be saying, you have no headphone jack. So how do you know what the volume is like? Well, I have a headphone jack now because of this, because it comes with one. So now I have the ability to actually monitor my audio as it's coming through the CVM AX1, which is fantastic. It's not a very expensive piece either. Only comes in around, I think it's about $100, $150, depending if you're looking at American or Canadian, which is bang on awesome. So nothing wrong with that at all. Last but not least, on my little setup, some of you will have probably more. Again, with the cage, I could add more things to this and just make this thing look ridiculous. Last but not least is a monitor. I have a 7-inch monitor, and I used to use this monitor a lot when I used to use my Canon 7D, which is, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's right there. That's it, floating in the background. And because that didn't have a flip out screen, I had this monitor attached to it so I could kind of see what the camera saw. But in a scenario like now, I don't usually use it that often unless I'm shooting something for somebody else, interview style or something like that, and they need to be able to see themselves and I need to be able to see what they're seeing. So I have my monitor switch this way and maybe the flip out screen face the other way, or vice versa. Doesn't really matter, but now I have two displays. Now a display like this one, just so you know, really inexpensive, really cheap. It came in just over the $100, $150 again, because again, I just wanted it for framing. It's not going to be used for critical focus or anything like that. I just use my autofocus, and as long as the little face tracking thing is on, I'm pretty happy that it's doing its job. Now to get that to attach, you will see that I have like a little arm here. Now you can get these arms from all kinds of different companies. They're all over things like Amazon, especially the company Small Rig, I believe, has arms like this that you can get on Amazon. I actually got this from banggood.com. I think it cost me $8. So if you want to pick up a bunch of those, awesome. Not bad to have, just in case. So really, outside of the fact that this lens was $400 by itself, everything else, including the monitor, including the two microphones, including the cage, including the sound mixer, we're between like $400 and $500. That's not horrible to get your M50 looking like this. Now, if you do decide you want to take it up one more notch, which is where I've just gone, and I'm super happy about this, you're gonna look at this, because this just came out recently. And if you look at this lens right now, and if I spin this, just so, hopefully it'll focus here. Viltrox, I should hold it up so you guys can read it properly. Viltrox, now this is the, what do they call this? The EF to EOS M2, 0.71 times. So it's considered their speed booster. So what it does is it has a lens that goes, so your camera sits on here, right? So your lens attaches to it, just like the lens adapter that I have right now. But what this does is it multiplies your focal length by 0.71. So it makes your camera lens pretty close to what it actually is supposed to be, if that makes sense. So I'll give you a for instance, and I'll use this a magic number. If I had a 10mm, when you put it on an M50, you get a 1.6 crop, which means that 10 is actually a 16. You're not near as wide as it should be if it was actually a 10. But if I had a 10mm with this on it, it would actually start as a 7mm, which then you times by 1.6 and would give you 7 plus, what is that, 4? Would give you like 11. So you're actually really close to what you would originally start with. So a 50, for instance, which is what I tested, and I'll put a link up here, normally would be an 80. But with this, it's like a 55. So good. That's one of the big bonuses, but the second bonus, which could be even better for a lot of us, is it actually, which is why it's called a speed booster, takes, because it's got a concave lens in it, it actually pulls more light into the sensor. So for instance, your 1.8 lens becomes, on mine, it became a 1.2. Yeah, 1.2. My 70 to 200 f4 became a 2.8. So that's a huge bonus. These come in around American $150, Canadian around 200, but it's an incredible add-on. Especially again, if you're gonna start investing in EF lenses, this is just gonna make every one of those lenses that you have two different lenses. So your 50 now is actually a 55 and an 80, depending on which adapter you have. So it's two different lenses. If you need it to be a wider, you put this one on. If you need it to be more telephoto, you put the other one on. All of a sudden, all your lenses have doubled in what they can do. So good. So good. Alright guys, I'm gonna leave you there. I've spent all your money. I'm gonna put links to everything down there because if you buy it through my link, it helps me. It does. And it really, no harm to you, right? Do it up. Alright my friends, I'm gonna leave you there. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we will see you guys in the next video. Oh yeah, if you get some of this stuff and get your M50 looking all ballin', send me a message. Put a little link down there so I can go take a look. Love to see what you guys are creating. Alright guys, later.